Hi there, it's Nicole here today. I'm so glad you're joining me. Today I am sharing a card with the new Lawn Fawn Beam Me Up stamps and coordinating dies and the Happy Birthday line border. And to really showcase these adorable little out of this world images, I decided to create a galaxy background with alcohol inks. So much fun. This is just one of those these are one of those products that I think are so fun to play with. I knew I wanted to go dark, so the majority of this panel is going to be pitch black. And I'm using a straw and blending solution to kind of blend. I kind of lay down my pitch black first, and I'm going to layer in some color with amethyst, sailboat, pool, and even a little wild plum before I add my silver mixative. And then I'm going to add quite a bit more pitch black, use my straw, use the blending solution to really get a good blend. But a lot of this color you see here is going to go away. It's going to be layered underneath. You only want hints of this to show through. I really wanted this to be a galaxy looking background, so I'm just squirting some blending solution on there, really kind of making a mess. I'm just going to blow this around while it's still wet, really get some great movement. You can see I lost a lot of the wild plum. I didn't want a ton of wild plum, but I did want a hint of it in a couple places. I wanted some more of that kind of purple, that amethyst color. I also wanted more of the silver mixative to go throughout because I really think the silver mixative helps with that galaxy feel. Look how pretty that is. In a little bit when I hold this up to the light and kind of move it around, you're going to see how awesome and shimmery that is. Really, really fun. There's a nice little hint of the wild plum. Again, I'm using my straw. Sorry, my head is down there in the way, blowing this around. So inexpensive, something you probably already have on hand, a great tool for helping with a galaxy type background. Now I did do this on an easy clean mat. I'm going to take some stamp cleaner and clean up my mat. I let my background sit for a few minutes to completely dry, and let's go ahead and die cut the greeting. You could use greetings all from the stamp set if you want, but I thought it would be fun to create a dimensional line border greeting along the bottom edge and then kind of stamp the rest of my sentiment on some black cardstock that I'll layer underneath. One of my favorite things to do with greetings that are connected like this is to die cut them from a dimensional foam material. In this case, we're doing very much tone on tone. I considered doing silver, and I laid out the silver glitter cardstock, I laid out the black glitter cardstock, and I really thought the black looked nice. When adhered to the white fun foam, I think it's going to give me enough of a contrast to really make a difference and make it still easy to read. I need to trim down my background because it's this gorgeous background and I really didn't want to get rid of too much of it. I kept it A2 sized, meaning 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And then I am simply going to pop my die out here. I'm going to leave my greeting in the fun foam material for just a second. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Now I stamped it the first time, dividing parts of the greeting up to kind of go around the loops in the letters, and you're going to see that here in a minute. It didn't flow good, at least not for me. I didn't like how it turned out. I went through all the effort of masking and stamping and masking and stamping, and only to realize I really didn't like how it looked. And I decided to stamp another border a little bit wider so that there's room for those loops so they don't cover up any of the additional stamped greeting from the Beam Me Up stamp set, but I think it looks a lot better. So you're going to see that in the finished card. You're also going to see that here in a minute. I did my greetings first. I hardly ever do my greetings first, but where the background is really kind of the star of the show to really showcase these Beam Me Up images, it just kind of fell that way. So I'm going to trim off any excess that overhangs. I will show you the other border here in just a second. To attach the little dot to the eye, I've talked about this before, but usually it's such a small image, I don't know that the stick-it adhesive I use on the fun foam holds that to the project very well, and so I generally always will adhere any little dots or punctuation with glossy accents or Ranger Multi-Matte Medium. Using some tweezers kind of helps with the perfect placement. I'm also using the Spellbinders Tool-in-One to move that around. Look at that awesome shimmer. There is my galaxy background. So let's go ahead and stamp the images we're going to use for the card. I'm using both spaceships, 3 monsters, and a little flag on some Neenah Smooth White cardstock, stamping these with the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. Then we'll be coloring all of these in with Copic markers. Now, the little beam that's coming out of the large spaceship, I opted to stamp that on vellum, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. To customize the flag, there are several little images in the set. You don't have to customize it, but where I'm not stamping anything else on the background, I decided to use one of the little planets to customize that little flag he's holding. I'm going to color in all my images. I have left the coloring in my video. I sped it up quite a little bit. I really wanted to use, for like the spaceships, colors that kind of went with the background a little bit. And then I went a little crazier with my monsters or aliens. So they really pop and show up off of the background. The first color combination is my favorite for purples, even though they're all blue colors. That's B60, 63, 66, and 69. Now, I spent a lot of time on the window of this spaceship, and after I colored it all in and I got to die cutting, I realized there is a die cut to die cut that window, which is what I wanted to do in the first place, because I want one of my little aliens to be manning the ship. And so I will be die cutting that out, and that was kind of, I hate to say a waste of time, but it was. So if you want one of your aliens to be in that spaceship and you're die cutting, I would suggest not coloring that in at all, because you won't be using it. If you're doing some masking, you want to mask that area and stamp your monster right in that window and not cut out the window, I think that would be amazing too, and really easy to do. And then you can die cut the spaceship all at one time, and you could color around the window. I kind of like that you can see the galaxy background around my monster, so I opted to go ahead and die cut it this time. My first monster's in some blues and yellows. My next one is in some shades of peachy pink. I did the eyes in yellow because I wanted them to really be kind of bugged out and crazy. I think they're really fun. There is an older Lawn Fawn stamp set that came out around Halloween time. I want to say maybe even 2-3 years ago, that has some adorable little monsters in it that I think would maybe be kind of fun to use with this stamp set. If you were doing a larger scene or maybe a trifold card or something, definitely go through your Lawn Fawn stamps and see what all you could use. The Out of This World, the stamp set that has the planets and everything, I think that would be amazing with this stamp set. So there are lots of ways to mix and match with your Lawn Fawn stamps. My final little alien here is going to be green. I couldn't decide what color to go with, and I'm glad I went with these kind of bright green colors. I think it shows up nicely. Again, he's going to have a yellow kind of wild-ish type of eye. If you get a little too heavy with the color, you can always take your colorless blender. It's not really going to blend, it's just going to move or push that ink out a little bit. It also is great for adding some little lighter areas to the monsters because it's going to kind of move or wick away that ink from where you've colored. Finally, let's finish with the flag, a little purple planet, just very, very little bit of coloring here, and then grays for the rest of the flag. And then we can die cut these images with the coordinating Beam Me Up dies. So let's go ahead and pop these out. I will show you that little insert piece for the spaceship. Let's tape that down, die cut that, and that's going to pop the window out. I think it makes a huge difference on the finished card. Perfect. I love that you can customize it or not. But look how cute that little guy looks sitting in his spaceship. I think he's really fun. He kind of reminds me of the little aliens from Toy Story. I don't know why, but maybe it's like the eye or something. Here are my other two little guys. Of course, we need to add that beam, and the big one's going to be holding a little flag. So let's move this stuff out of the way real quick. Grab a piece of vellum. I'm going to stamp the beam with Versamark ink and heat emboss with white. I like this because I think it kind of continues the white outline look from the other images to this piece. You could do this in any color you wanted to, or maybe not even stamp it at all if you didn't want to and just die cut the shape. But I wanted it to appear to have light coming down from the spaceship, like a space beam. And so what I chose to do after I die cut this stamped and embossed beam of light is flip it over to the back. And I'm going to take some yellow Copic markers and add color. This is going to make a huge difference. It's going to give it that yellow beam of light type of look. We're not coloring over the embossed area, so it's not going to turn any of that embossing yellow. If you colored on top of it, it would color in the embossing powder, so you don't want to do that. Do it on the back. Blend it all out, flip it over. I'm going to add just a little liquid glue then and adhere this to my card, and I can start putting it all together. We've got all of our components now, and really it's just a matter of gluing everything down. I do like to double check before I finish anything. I didn't for this card, but I think it would be fun to add some kind of crazy Google eyes, wiggle eyes, enamel dot eyes stickers to the aliens, because I think that would be really cute. I did take a white pen before I started adhering anything. I had considered doing white paint splatter, and I didn't because I wanted a little more control over where my little stars were going to be in the galaxy. So I'm just taking a white pen and adding some dots all over. We'll finish with some little silver stars when everything else is adhered. So let's adhere the images, starting with the little spaceship kind of off in the distance. And as I went, I guess I wanted to live dangerously today. I probably should have waited till the end, but I started adding glossy accents. I really wanted it to get dry so I could get pictures taken of my card and get it uploaded and everything. But probably I should have waited to the end. I was lucky and I didn't get my hand in it or ruin it, but it does happen a lot. So I'm going to just hide some glue behind the embossed areas on the light beam. I tried to put it through my Xyron sticker maker, and I only have the small one, and it just was too wide. It didn't fit, and I didn't want to crunch it up. So we're just going to add a little glue. That looks cute. We're going to go ahead and adhere this spaceship. I just love the spaceship and that beam of light coming down. I think it's so clever and cute. We'll tuck the little monster into the spaceship. Put a little glue on my other monsters so that they're standing down here like they're coming down to wish a happy birthday to their favorite earthling. I like to put something heavy on top to help hold anything down if I'm using liquid adhesive as I'm working. And then we need to fill in this spaceship just like we did the small one off in the distance with glossy accents, which means covering up the monster as well. I almost look at it as I remove the window by die cutting that section I colored, and now I'm replacing the window with some glossy accents. I think the glossy accents makes a huge difference for this kind of a design. Going over the eyes with a black jelly roll pen, and then we're going to add glossy accents to the eyes on the blue monster, the antenna on the pink monster, and finish the card with a scattering of Pretty Pink Posh silver mini star confetti. When I was looking at the card and trying to figure out what kind of finishing detail to add to finish off this scene, some little sparkly silver stars seemed to be the perfect thing. Confetti, sequins, anything like that is a great, easy finishing touch. I highly recommend adding just little dabs of glue, whether you're using glossy accents or Ranger Multi-Matte Medium, and then using something like this jewel picker to pick them up and put them right where you want them to go. Look how cute that looks. It really sets off the galaxy perfectly. There are lots of ways to achieve a galaxy. You could do it with distress inks, watercolors. Have fun. Thanks for joining me today for this Out of This World card featuring the Lawn Fawn Beam Me Up stamps and dies. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Lawn Fawn that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.